Welcome back, guys, to Apollo Justice, where the chips are on the table as we continue to gamble with Phoenix's life. Ah yes, poker puns. Always the best way to start an intro, isn't it? Then explain it, because great. As we now have, instead of the reason for Phoenix having bopped Shady Smith over the head being losing, we now have cheating instead. Bit convoluted, we could have got there earlier, but still, Olga Orly is obviously hiding something. Let's continue on. Last hand. Both men had full house. Did they now? There is 4 of each card in deck from ace to king. If you look at both men's hands, cheat is more obvious. Next moment, game becomes argument. Defense trick was exposed. He took a bottle in his hand. Poor Mr. Smith. So now we find out exactly what's going on. We know what's there, so now it's just time to press. 4 of each card, you say? There is 1 spade, 1 diamond, 1 heart, and 1 club for each card. It is an interesting fact that this number 4 comes from number of seasons. Huh? You don't say. And did you know that the cards are numbered 1 to 13? Add all the cards in a deck and you get 364. A year! Huh, you don't say. Isn't that 1 day short? That's why each deck has 2 jokers. They say the second joker stands for the leap year. Is this really true? Because I had no clue. This is ace. Brain information. Thus, you have a perfect representation of the year, all in a deck of cards. Huh? You don't say. We're gonna be in this courtroom for a year if it keeps going like this. No, thank you for the information. Great, I enjoyed that immensely. Cheers. You look at both men's hands, cheating is more obvious. Right, with that said, we don't want to actually present, we want to check. Can't see the cards too well at the moment, but they're all of different suits, so that should be fine in that sense. I mean, the aces are different suits, the sevens are all different suits, the kings, look different suits as well. I mean, it looks like a heart and a diamond from here, so why are you saying that? I mean, it's very improbable, don't get me wrong, that's ridiculously improbable. How is it clear? Well, the defendant, he played a 5th ace. 5th ace? How? You don't see that there. I still remember both hands very well. Mr. Smith's hand has 3 aces. And Mr. Wright's too. Obviously cheating with a foot, or perhaps I should say a hand. Your Honor, perhaps this can be added to the testimony, without Mr. Payne's joke. Very well. The witness will add this detail to her testimony, please. Right, well, now we've found what's wrong with that. Mr. Smith's hand has 3 aces and Mr. Wright's 2. It is 5 aces in all. Yeah, but that's not what we see there at all. We see 3 kings. Objection! 3 kings. It appears the witness is mistaken. Mistaken? But my name... Look, this piece of evidence clearly contradicts what you said in your testimony. That's the photo of the chips, is it not? Justice? Perhaps you ought to explain your point in a way that the judge can comprehend. In other words, use your finger to point out your point. Yes, please point out the contradiction in this photo. What particular point contradicts the witness's testimony? As you guys can see for a bit there, quite clearly. We have a different amount of cards here. Why, it's here, of course. It's where? Where is it that you're pointing? Where? Am I going to get punished for this? Good question. We've already heard today on the dangers of bluffing. Sorry, Your Honor. I better rethink this. I think you'd best point out your point again. What particular point contradicts the witness's testimony? Huh? What's the problem here? It's the fact that all the aces, there's only 5 aces instead? I mean, it's... Really? I mean, you want me to point at the aces rather than the kings when there's 3 kings and you said there was 2. Both could have worked perfectly fine. Game logic. Phoenix Wright logic, more to the point. Miss Orly, in your testimony you made the following claim. Mrs. Smith's hand has 3 aces. But as you can clearly see, the victim's hand only held 2 aces. Either way would have been fine. I guess it was exactly to script, though. Eek! Thanks for not punishing me, though, game.
Well, maybe the witness was simply confused. Perhaps it was the defendant's hand that held the 3rd ace in question.
Take another look at the evidence. There'd be 6 cards, and that'd be even more obvious. As you can see, the defendant also had 2 aces in his hand. Where's this 5th ace? I see cheating, alright. It's going on right here in this courtroom.
2 aces in each player's hand does make 4 aces total. Hardly proof of cheating.
Wait, please. It is true. I have seen it. The 5th ace. There was cheating, I swear to you. That's odd. She must be lying, yet she's the most sincere I've ever seen her all day. You're right to trust your instincts. Mr. Gavin? Who knows what lies in store for us in the trial ahead? Your Honor, if I may, I have a suggestion.
What might that be, Mr. Gavin?
If you don't mind, perhaps we might examine the actual cards.
The cards?
Mr. Payne.
Yes?
The players' hands that night were set aside as evidence, were they not? The defense would like to request that the cards be shown to the court.
Very well. The prosecution will submit this evidence. Which will you examine? The victim's cards or the defendant's cards?
If these cards don't prove cheating was going on, nothing will. Now, which of these hands is more suspicious? Well, it's the victim's hand, of course. It was the victim's hand that changed over the course of the witness's testimony. The defense requests time to examine Mr. Smith's card.
Very well. Mr. Payne, if you would.
Very well.
Right, we got the victim's hand. Can we just get both? I wouldn't mind both, just to make sure nothing really uppity going. Well, time's a-wasting. Get to it, Justice. Yes, sir! When examining evidence, be sure to view it from all sides and angles. Try using the dials in the evidence viewer. That should give you a better perspective on the case. Okay, let's do this. Sure, in the small screen we play, as I bet you colours are going to be wrong on cards. What's that? A king taken from the blue deck. I think you'll have our problem here. What? Your Honor, look at this! One of the victim's cards. The back is a different colour. That's impossible. But I put that card in Wright's hand. Way! What was that, Miss Orley? Yes, I merely said, da, I have eek! Your Honor?
Mr. Gavin, yes?
Tell me what is the easiest way to cheat at poker?
To cheat?
I'll tell you. One merely needs a friend, a comrade, shall we say. The dealer. Wait, so you mean... This witness, Miss Orley, she's the cheater. A professional, I'd wager. Nya! Nice combination of no and ah.
Order, order!
Focus, Justice. Time to take advantage of her. I mean of her mistake. Yeah, that. Your Honor, please recall the testimony we just heard. That's impossible. But I put that card in Wright's hand. Ergo, Miss Olga Orley conspired to cheat, not with my client, but with the victim, Mr. Shady Smith. This isn't going right for me. No, we got a new kind of pursuit theme, I guess. The problem with this is it's making it a reason to be conked over the head right now. This isn't good. This isn't good. Ook. Not only did she cheat, she cheated poorly. Therefore, it's not hard to imagine an altercation between her and the victim.
What?
Wait, you don't mean the defense isn't accusing the witness, Miss Olga Orley, are you?
Time for justice. There were 3 people in the room at the time of the incident, and if Mr. Wright isn't guilty, that means I am. Wait, it means you're guilty? The defense accuses the witness, Miss Olga Orley, of murder. Eek! Oh, not the whole fainting trick again. Oh, nice place. Well done.
Mr. Payne, where's your witness, Miss Olga Orley?
It appears she has lost, consciousness, Your Honor.
Mr. Justice, Your Honor. It seems you presented a new possibility to the court, one suggesting a connection between the witness and the victim, Mr. Smith.
And that means?
This court cannot pronounce a verdict for the defendant at this time.
Yeah, what?
I did it. I held out.
I see no point in prolonging the trial this day. The prosecution will need to make further inquiries.
We know that voice. Mr. Wright? Can't end the trial here, Your Honor. Not yet.
What nonsense is the defendant spewing now?
Think. One of the cards had a different coloured back. Don't you wonder what it means?
What are you doing, Mr. Wright? Raising objections right when you're about to get off the hook? Ridiculous!
Mr. Payne, you of all people should know. Mr. Wright has a talent for the ridiculous.
That is talent. Ridiculous.
Perhaps we should get to the bottom of things. Let's clear up the facts about the game that fateful night.
As was said before, we alternated between 2 decks of cards that night.
That was said before!
Wait, you said that. The 2 decks of the club have different coloured backs, blue and red. 1 colour per deck. Why use different coloured backs? If we use the same colour, the 2 decks might get mixed. You used different colours and they still got mixed up? We used the red deck for the last game.
I see, but that's odd. For some reason, I have this impression that you were using the blue cards.
Yeah, me too. I'm sure someone said something about blue cards. Well, it was Gavin. Good old Gav.
Whatever. In the end, 1 card with the wrong colour got into the mix, which means there was cheating.
Yes, a card slipped into the deck would seem to indicate cheating. Yet this card raises 2 serious questions. Apollo? Yes? Let's consider the first question, shall we? Think. In the last game, when was the card swapped? When? There are 3 broad possibilities here. It could have been swapped before the murder, during the murder, or after the murder.
Well, yeah. Thanks for the news bulletin, Mr. Wright. Of course it was swap.
Oh? It might be as simple as you think, Mr. Payne, or it might not be. I'd like to hear what Apollo thinks first. When do you think the cards were swapped? When was the card swapped into the deck? Before the murder, during the murder, or after the murder? I think possibly after the murder. I reckon Phoenix straight 1. Perhaps it happened after the murder? Why are you objecting?
What's that? Ridiculous! What's the point of cheating after the hands have been shown? That's silly!
Yes, but tell me, how do you swap cards during the game? I'll take silly over impossible. The dealer, yeah, whatever, I'm wrong.
Take it from me, son, there's a lot of silly in this world, but very little impossible.
Oh, even when the backs of the cards are a different colour? If you pulled that during the game, you'd be caught in no time. Ah! Quite true. That would mean that the blue card in question was swapped after the hands were shown. After the murder. Oh no, I'm right. Yeah, go me. I thought the game was going to say I was wrong.
Okay, this is going past silly and straight on to crazy. I ask again, what's the point of cheating after the game's over? Who would do that?
Who indeed? That's one of the mysteries before us.
There's another!
Yes, a simple yet decisive question must be asked. Who swapped the red card for a blue card? Who? The game and murder is done. The victim is dead. Only 2 remain in the room, alive, that is. The defendant, Phoenix Wright, and our witness, Olga Orley. Okay, so who was it that swapped the red card for a blue? It would either have to be Olga, someone else, or Phoenix himself. But why would Phoenix switch so that he'd lost? That makes no sense. That implicates him further. You'd have to say it was Olga because there was only 2 people in the room. But someone else sounds cooler. The fact that it's even given us that option is the interesting thing. It could have been switched way after the fact, and that Olga had nothing to do with it. I mean, it makes sense to point the finger at Olga. Let's go someone else. I don't care if I get a penalty. The one who swapped the cards wasn't Mr. Wright, of course. And, well, it doesn't seem like it could have been Olga or Lee either.
What are you suggesting?
It's hardly a logical conclusion, I'll admit. But Phoenix would have seen it. As a defense, I think it only makes sense for you to name Miss Orley at this point. Yes, I know. But she was the one who dealt the cards, right? She could have done it then. This is the whole point. I just can't believe she would make the mistake of swapping the wrong colour card.
And if the card was swapped during the game, it'd be obvious.
Ha!
Something you'd like to share with the court, Mr. Wright?
Oh, my apologies, Your Honour. I was just thinking how much fun all this is. The game has a way of making me feel like I'm wrong.
Fun? How about confusing? I've no idea what the defense is claiming, Your Honor. If the one who swapped the card wasn't the defendant, and it wasn't Miss Orley, then who was it?
Yeah, well, that is the question, isn't it? Precisely. Huh? I believe we're about to see this case take a new direction.
A new direction?
We'll find that indeed, after the murder, someone swapped one of the cards in the victim's hand. And that someone made two critical mistakes. I'm sure you're going to tell us that the first was swapping the wrong colour card. Because the one who did the swap didn't know two coloured cards were being used. The other mistake was the number on the card. Right, the person replaced the fifth ace with a king. I'm sure whoever swapped it wasn't expecting there to be a fifth ace after all. All they knew was that the game had been won with a full house. So they picked up a king from the table and swapped it in.
But there's one problem. According to our case record, this person doesn't exist.
True, not until now, but you have to admit the possibility of a fourth person. Though it's more than a possibility. There was someone else there that night at the scene of the crime.
What?
I believe the judge spoke truthfully earlier. You do make trials ridiculous, Mr. Wright.
This trial has proceeded on one central assumption, namely that at the time of the incident there were only 3 people in that room.
I believe this new evidence, shall we say, overturns that assumption.
The problem is that you chose to conceal this information from the court.
I suppose that is a problem, yes.
Court is adjourned for a brief recess. Mr. Gavin, I'll see you in my chambers during this recess.
Certainly, Your Honour.
Very well. The trial will resume in 20 minutes.
12. Now let's talk so I can swallow. Man, talking makes your mouth sound weird. So much talking. That was quite unexpected, Mr. Wright. To suddenly claim there was another person at the scene of the crime like that. I must ask, is it the truth? Well now, I think you would know the answer to that. Being mysterious, are we? Sadly, I have no time for mysteries. I'd only ask that you leave the defending to your defense in the future. Otherwise, I cannot guarantee the outcome. I see you haven't mellowed out one bit, Christoph. Justice. Yes, sir? The judge has summoned me to his chambers, so carry on without me.
You did well, Apollo.
Can I ask you something? Sure. That locket you wear. Is that really yours, Mr. Wright? Ah, you're wondering about the victim's disappearing locket? Here, you can take a look at it. That's a picture of my daughter in there. I'm just surprised to hear you had a daughter. Most people are. Perhaps you'll meet her one of these days. One more question. The one who cheated that night, was it you? What do you think? Huh? You know what happened 7 years ago? What I did. It's not unreasonable for you to think I might cheat. I never, honest. But it is odd that he managed to go undefeated for 7 whole years. Want to know something? There's only one game where you can be dealt bad cards all night and still win. Poker. Eh? You see, poker is all about reading your opponent.
In that way, it's a lot like a court case. Poker is like trial law. Figure out what your opponent is thinking, and you win.
Well, yeah, but that's harder than it sounds.
I think not. Try as they might to conceal it, everyone reveals their true thoughts in the end. Their body language can become a valuable source of information.
You're kidding!
That witness, for instance, Miss Orley. She would touch the back of her neck during certain parts of her testimony. Did you notice? I paused then because my Wii U pad came on. Believe it or not, distractions. Did I notice indeed? No.
Come on, who knows that?
Words, habits, twitches. It's all information for the reading. That's the secret to winning, Apollo. Someone taught me, and now I pass the secret on to you.
But I'm not worthy. I mean, there's no way I'll pick up these signals.
Signals? Signals indeed. No. You can do it. Huh? You just don't know it yet.
What's he talking about?
But you will, soon.
Ah, almost forgot.
One more thing. About this case. You should know, I haven't told the truth to anyone yet.
What? I knew it.
I have my reasons, of course. All should be revealed. And Apollo, I need you to be there, defending me. I need your power.
My, power?
I had no idea my cause was still all that special. It's time. The real trial begins now. Do your best. Right, as the to be continued comes up, we continue no problem. With another bit of music.
Yes!
April 20th, 12:14 PM, District Court, Courtroom number 2. We're back in action. Hello, Mr. Payne. Court will now reconvene. Has our witness, Miss Olga Orley, recovered?
Yes, Your Honor. Well, she's regained consciousness.
Perhaps we can hear her version of the events again.
That's the thing, you see. She's quite fatigued.
You're looking a bit fatigued yourself, Mr. Payne.
Sadly, fatigue is insufficient grounds for refusing to testify or prosecute.
The defense would like to request that Miss Orley take the stand. Very well. The witness will take the stand.
Perhaps you could repeat your name and profession. Or perhaps you'd rather admit that you're a poor liar and a poorer loser. Yeah. Not.
Name's Olga Orley. That's the truth. I'm a pro dealer. Not even Russian? How dare you? People call me Olga Quick Fingers Orley. Oh, really?
Want to know something else? I'm not really Russian, and my last name sounds like oh really?
Yes. Oh, it actually is pronounced like that as well. Oh, really? I don't even mean to make a pun. It's like, oh, okay. I tried so hard, you know. I tried so hard to say your name correctly, and it turned out to be oh really anyway. This is the most shocking piece of evidence. Damnation. Ah! There, that's the truth. Are you all satisfied? Got taller too. Witness, you will tell the court what you were really up to all that night.
Fine, I'll talk. We had a plan, see?
Let me remind you that you're currently under oath. Any further fabrications will have serious consequences.
Fine. Surely every person who testified in this court ever has been done for perjury, isn't it? Like I said, I'm a pro. That guy Smith hired me to do what I do best. I was planned at the Borscht Bowl Club several days prior to the night of the game. As a waitress. So in cahoots with the victim. Not that he needed my help. Smith is a well-known poker player in some circles. But winning wasn't the main purpose of this game. It was about destroying a legend, the unbeatable Phoenix Wright. The plan was simple, elegant really. You see, we set up a trap of sorts. I was to plant a card in Wright's pocket beforehand, and then deal 5 aces during one of their games. When the hands were revealed, Smith would call him out and search Wright. He would then pull out the planted card and the trap would snap shut. You swapped the cards! Smack! Exposing the cheater and losing on top of it, it would have made a great double play. Just like that, the legend would be dashed to pieces.
Indeed. Getting caught red-handed or cheating would cast doubt on all his prior wins.
A 7-year legend destroyed by one little card. That was the plan.
That was the plan. Oh really? Oh really? How droll.
But it appears you made quite the mistake.
A mistake?
I agree the trap was elegant.
Yet what happened to that planted card?
Hey, that's right! He's lucky, I'll give him that. You have to be slipped free from a trap laid by Olga Quick Fingers, oh really?
Oh really? Although witness would be much cuter if she dispensed with the evil mastermind shtick.
Cute? Who wants to be cute? I'm not cute, I'm bad, you hear me? Bad!
When you're through being bad, perhaps you could testify to the court and tell us about this trap and how it was sprung.
The best laid traps, they do go to waste. That night, I planted the card like I was supposed to. And Wright lost the last hand, just like he was supposed to. And Smith searched him. The planted card was gone. The trap failed. The next moment, Wright picked up a bottle and swung it. It wasn't me who hit Smith. It was that no-good cheating defendant.
A surprisingly frank testimony that still leaves us mostly in the dark.
The trap was perfect, I tell you, perfect. If that rotten cheater hadn't messed it up. Look who's talking.
Well, the testimony, for what it's worth, is all yours, Mr. Justice.
With witnesses like her, who needs criminals? With defendants like Mr. Wright, who needs prosecutors? Right then, the best laid traps, they do go to waste. That night, I planted the card like I was supposed to. How? Got it into his hoodie when he wasn't wearing it? A splendid card. Which card was it exactly? The trump card. The 5 of hearts.
Let me guess. Mr. Wright was to have switched the 5 with the ace to make a full house. At least that's what you were going to accuse him of doing, thereby ruining his legend.
I slid it into Wright's pocket. When was this? Why, before the match, of course. While he was eating, but the 5 of hearts didn't even make a full house. At the Borscht Bowl Club, we serve borscht. And suckers.
Remind me never to go there.
Of course, the card was to make its grand debut during the game. Like a good borscht, a good plot must be cooked up early and allowed to thicken. And Wright lost the last hand, just like we were supposed to, and Smith searched him! So, everything went according to plan? Exactly. The 5th ace came up, so it's obvious the switch went off without a hitch. Once the extra card was found in his pocket, Wright would be forever known as a cheat and a fraud.
There are worse things to be known as, I suppose.
Tell us what happened with the search. But the planted card was gone. The trap has failed. The card disappeared? Yeah, my trump card, the 5 of hearts. Gone, without a trace. Proof, Zippo. We searched every nook and cranny, even inside his cute little hat. But the card was nowhere to be found. Is this correct? Never in my long storied career. Never has Quick Fingers Orley been so readily duped.
Oh really? So what did happen to that 5 of hearts?
Don't look at me. Why don't you ask that cheating, lying, two-faced defendant? So the 5 of hearts is still missing in action.
MIA!
Next moment, Wright picked up a bullet and swung it!
Why?
Wait, isn't that a little odd? What's odd? You searched Mr. Wright, thoroughly and found nothing. Which means he didn't cheat. Which means he had no reason to strike the victim. Well... What was that just now? I sensed something.
Something wrong, Mr. Justice?
No, nothing, Your Honor. What to do? Should I press her a little harder? Obviously we should. She used her tell. And the game really tried to make it out to us. Miss Orley! You're hiding something. Well, I'm not sure how we're going to break this out from this point. But she is hiding something indeed. A pulse. A tell. Phoenix told us about it. As we move on with a lovely Olizandri cliffhanger to the next episode. Join me then for more Apollo Justice as we find out what's really going on this moment. Bye-bye.